If you right now feel stuck within your trading journey and you don't really know how to move on to the next level, then this video is for you. During this video I'm going to be explaining to you the 5 different stages to each trader's journey. I'm going to be explaining to you each individual stage in depth. This means that I'll be providing to you actionable steps which you can take to move on to the next stage. Welcome to this new video. The first stage of every single trader's journey is the learning phase. You got into the world of trading through either a friend telling you about the markets, or maybe even a family member telling you about the markets, or you might saw someone online flash the lifestyle that trading can provide and you got into it that way. When you started getting into trading, you probably however fell for either subscribing to indicators, or you were subscribed to signal groups, or you were simply looking for very simplistic price patterns, but you quickly found out that this was not the way to go. That means that throughout this learning phase, your focus has to be on one thing, and that's actually learning how these markets book. This phase is a phase that takes a lot of time and effort, and the reason why this takes a lot of time and effort is because you need to actually dive into the charts and look for very specific things. This means that you cannot be looking to trade. So throughout the first few months of your journey, I don't want you to expect you to make any money, and the reason why is because you cannot actually learn and trade at the same time. Your focus at first has to purely be on learning what makes these markets go up and down, when those price swings are going to form, and that right there is something which you can only learn if you're purely focused on studying. Once you are, however, at a stage where you begin to see the same things again and again and again, and you begin to see these price swings before they form, that is when the next step takes place. That means that from that learning stage, you'll move on to the testing stage. Stage number 2 of every single trader's journey is the testing phase. Throughout this phase, your focus is on testing out what you learned throughout the learning phase. This means that you are going to try and apply the knowledge which you learned within the live markets. You don't do this, however, with real money. And the reason why is because you're still learning about these markets. You're still learning about what makes these markets go up and down. To then put risk behind your analysis at first is very foolish. Therefore, at first you're simply going to look to demo trade. And throughout this demo trading phase, what you will be doing is you'll be trying to test out what actually works for you. This usually takes a few months time as well, and the reason why is because you need to begin developing confidence in the knowledge which you have acquired. Once you, however, have the confidence in that what you are looking for within the markets, your protocol is being defined. And the reason why is because during this period it's very important that you pay attention to what suits you as a trader, what you feel most comfortable with. Once you are able to utilize this experience in which you're testing out the knowledge which you acquired throughout the learning phase, the next step then is defining objective rules for yourself. If this, then that statements. And once you have developed that protocol for yourself and you have found your model, the next stage is near. The stage number 3 of every single trader's journey is the stage in which there will be some risk involved in trading. I am not a financial advisor, so I'm never going to tell you to put risk behind the things which I'm sharing with you. However, in stage 3 of a trader's journey, the usual next step nowadays is to dive into prop firms. The reason being is because prop firms are very popular nowadays because they allow you to get into the world of trading with a very low entry fee. You pay $100 a month and you get access to the possibility to manage tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, in prop firm capital. Throughout this phase, what you're doing is you're actually trying to apply the knowledge which you have acquired throughout the learning phase, and you're going to test out the protocol which you have developed more and more. You're now also going to experience what it's like to trade with some capital behind you. This is not real capital, however, with prop firms, but that's a topic for another time. During this phase, your focus is on repetition, where you're going to constantly do the same things week in, week out. And throughout this phase, you also learn to master yourself. Because when you're demo trading versus when you're live trading, there's a huge difference in the psychological element. Throughout this third phase, your focus is on one thing, and that's getting to know yourself. yourself. You're getting confident in your own trading approach based on the knowledge which you acquired. And secondly, you're getting to know about what makes you tick. This is where journaling plays a crucial role. At this stage within your journey, your focus has to be on journaling your own emotions, but also journaling your own wins and losses. Meaning, you need to be objectively looking at everything what you're doing and you need to define for yourself, hey, this is working for me and this is not working for me. You double down on that what works and you do less of that what doesn't work. Your main focus in this stage is being consistent. Consistent in your analysis, consistent in your execution, and consistent in your reflection. Once you're able to become consistent in each one of these three areas and you begin achieving minor results within the prop firms, your focus is then on one thing, and that is accomplishing payouts. Once you accomplish these payouts, you're not going to go out here and you're just going to spend that money on stupid things. That's the worst thing you could do. Your focus should be on one thing, and that is saving up that money. Because that money can eventually be utilized to fund your own live account if you decide to do so. The reason why I'm saying this is because when you think about prop firms in general, a prop firm itself is a very unstable business. Therefore, you don't want to be in the prop firm world for too long, in my honest opinion. Therefore, your focus should be on moving away from them as soon as possible. And this is not me trying to scare you about prop firms, because I know many of you, your sole focus right now is on getting into the prop firm world. However, I want to warn you for the risk involved. Once you are able to actually say, okay, I've now built up enough capital to actually move away from prop firms, the fourth step within the trading journey comes along. The fourth step of each trader's journey is to actually move into trading real capital. This right here is something which you decide on your own when you're ready to do. I'm never going to tell you to fund a live account or to begin trading with real money. However, when you decide on your own timeline that you're ready to trade with real money, you can decide to fund your own live account. Once you fund your own live account, your focus is on further enhancing your current protocol that you've already created over these past couple of months. This means that you're going to consistently look to improve that what you're already doing. This is where journaling again plays a crucial role. Your focus when trading your own live account is on one thing, and your focus is on slowly but steadily increasing the equity within that account. This takes time, meaning don't rush through this process. Don't go into the markets because you want to get somewhere today or tomorrow or next week. No, have a long-term vision for yourself, because real trading takes time. We're not out here gambling. We're not out here simply just going into the markets because we want to get something now. That right there is something which you cannot have in your own mind. You simply need to submit to time and consistently do the right thing. However, in order for you to know what the right thing is, you must not have rushed through the previous steps. And I know that many of you are probably listening to me speak right now, and you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, but that's exactly what I've done. Where you realize, hey, you rushed into it. And if you feel like you're right now trading either prop firm accounts or trading your own live account, but you don't really know what you're doing yet, stop. Literally stop right now, and I want you to take a few steps back. I want you to stop trading for a moment, and I want you to think about, hey, do you actually know what you're doing? Do you actually know what sets up the price swings? For the majority of you, the answer to that question is going to be no, because you have not studied well enough. And for some of you, you might have studied well enough and you've researched a lot, but you were unable to define an objective trading approach. You were unable to define a protocol. If that is the case, take a step back and go back to where you started and look again, okay, what did you learn? What did you look at? And what have you seen to work for you? Once you find out what works for you and you see exactly what you're able to repeat every single week, then that means that that right there is what you need to double down on. But if you're constantly looking to change your strategy and you're always looking around on social media or speaking to friends who are also trading and you're constantly thinking to yourself, oh, I should try and do what this guy is doing, or I should try and do what this girl is doing, or I should add this to my trading strategy, or maybe I should change this, whatever it might be. if you feel like you're right now constantly changing your strategy and you're hopping from strategy to strategy to strategy, how do you expect to become consistent? You can't be. And that right there is what you need to make sure that you remove from your own behavior. Focus on one thing, and that is doing the same things. And only if you are at that stage where you're doing the same things every single week, that is when this fourth stage is applicable. But until that's the case, you're always going to be holding yourself back and you're always going to be hitting a certain ceiling. That ceiling will eventually be jumped over once you realize that you were the person that's constantly trying to change things instead of just repeating the same process. Now, understand that for many of you are probably listening to me speak right now and you're probably thinking to yourself, what's this guy on about? This is such a boring video, whatever it might be. Well, let me tell you something. If you do not see the value in the things which I'm sharing with you right now, click off this video. Go out there for a few months or a few years and you're going to remember exactly when you heard yourself what I'm outlining to you now. Where you realize that I'm actually giving you the full blueprint right now to set yourself up for the upcoming years. Once you follow this blueprint and you begin to move from stage to stage to stage, that is where you will eventually begin to see the major progress. Now, the fifth stage within every single trader's journey is a stage that is not for the most traders. It's a stage that most traders think of. However, it's not a stage that the majority of traders will reach. And the fifth stage is the stage of trading institutionally, where instead of you simply trading either your own capital or trading, for example, for a prop firm, you actually begin to trade for example, a hedge fund or a family office. Now, this stage gets accomplished and reached by being consistent on your own account, by actually being profitable consistently over a long enough period of time where you've built up your track record that either big companies are willing to hire you on board of their trading floor or investors actually wanting you to manage their capital. Now, this is a stage that not every single trader aspires to reach. Some of you just want to make ends meet with trading, and that's completely fine. And that is beautiful. However, some of you are also watching this video and you're thinking to yourself, but hey, wait a minute, I want to do way more than that. And if you are one of those persons that wants to do way more than that, you need to make sure that you're structured. Be structured in your own personal life, be structured in your own trading, be structured in the way that you're going about trading, whether it's preparation, whether it's analysis, whether it's execution and reflection, and make sure that you submit to time again. Don't rush the process, because the process of actually getting to that level takes time. You need to build up the connections, you need to build up a name for yourself, and once you've built up that name for yourself, opportunities will come your way. So to summarize each 5 of these different stages which I've mentioned throughout this video, I want to give the following piece of advice. No matter what stage you're currently at, understand that you must be focused on the future. You must be focused on where you're working towards. If you feel like right now you're at a stage where you're comfortable and you feel like you've accomplished everything, trust me, you haven't. Because the moment you feel like you've reached your objective and you've accomplished a lot, that is where you're going to begin slacking. That is where you're going to begin feeling like, hey, you know, I've made it, now I can just chill down and that's it. No, trust me, because when you begin to think that way, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be holding yourself back and you're going to become lazy. If you, however, feel right now that you're not at the right stage yet and you feel upset with yourself and you feel like you're not where you should be right now, then there's only one solution, and the solution to that is actually taking action, meaning moving forward. Because the thing is, raw action cures everything. The feelings of fear that you have right now, or the feelings of anger or sadness that you experience right now, get cured by simply doing one thing, and that is moving forward towards the future. You need to create for yourself a vision what you want to accomplish. Create for yourself a certain idea of, hey, within this timeline, I want to be at this stage. Once you realize where you want to be at and you begin to see very clearly this is the vision, the next step is simply just doing everything which is required to get to that level. And that is something something which takes time, but also a level of self-awareness that the majority of people don't possess. That level of self-awareness gets achieved by just simply journaling. Taking some time to reflect upon the things what you're doing and actually seeing whether or not they're actually making you grow towards the level that you want to accomplish. This video was literally the full blueprint which you need to follow if you want to level up to the different stages which I've outlined to you. It doesn't mean that each one of you is going to have the goal of getting to the institutional trading level, but it doesn't have to be, because there's a lot of money which you can make simply by trading for yourself if you desire to go down that path. And even if you don't want to move away from prop firms, there's a lot of money which you can make actually by simply trading prop firms. Take some time to think about where you want to get to, towards what level you actually want to take this, and once you have set out that bar for yourself, move towards it. I want to wish you a lot of good luck throughout your journey, and I hope that this video has given you some guidelines to stick to and actually adhere to over the upcoming years. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments, and if you would like to see more videos like these, be sure to press the subscribe button on my channel, because you'll be notified then when I release a new video. Good luck in your studies, and I'm rooting for you. Be safe.